to pound on. I'm channeling John Oliver today. I love his show Last Week Tonight. I loved it a little bit more before it was all Trump, but whatever. He's still a funny guy. And this is episode 175 of the Knitting Samurai and Her Guys video podcast. I'm your host, Steph, and I also go by the name Adore Knit Steph on, what's that place? Instagram. That's the place. I'm Knitting Samurai over on Ravelry, and it is April 20th. Oh, it's 420. I'm a little old to find that funny, don't you think? 2 cups of coffee into the day, and yes, it has been a very long time since we've spoke to each other, almost a year, and things have changed, but some things haven't, and I'm still silly, and I'm right here with you. So, I'm going to start off the show with some knitting talk, and about halfway through, I'm going to switch, and yeah, I'm going to cut off my knitting talk and start telling you about what's happened in the last year of my life. So, if you're here to see some knitting, I got you covered, and if you're here to see some knitting and catch up, we'll do that too. So, it feels so odd to be back in the saddle, as you would say. I am actually sitting up in my bedroom knitting space, or in the sitting area in our bedroom, where I've spent quite a lot of time lately. But that's not what's happening. So right here in my hands, the quick project I grabbed is a baby hat that I've been working on. It is Deborah Norville. I don't know. It's a big box store acrylic wool blend yarn, or maybe it's 100% acrylic. I think it is. It's super soft and squishy. I don't know how they did it. It's some sort of magic in here to make acrylic feel nice. I already knit 3 of these hats, so just preemie size or newborn size with a little top knot. I sent 3 of them to the Into the Wool Fiber Retreat. If you're going, hey, I'm the sponsor. If you're not, disregard that. So this is the last ball I have, and so I'm just finishing it off. So that's my little mindless knitting. I have a whole stack here of stuff from the last year. I'm wearing one of the things I finished in the last year. This is probably my 7th or 8th goldfinch shawl. I knit a ton of them. I love knitting them with leftover scraps of yarn. You need a little bit more than that, but I think the pattern calls for 5 colors, and clearly I used a lot more and did not weave in my ends. I don't need to weave in my ends. In fact, I have a sweater that I finished in June or July that the ends are hanging out all over. I wear it all the time. In fact, I wear it so much that the cuffs are starting to pill. I gotta do one of those shavy things. But anyways, it's a great sweater, so I wear it all the time. And this is a great shawl. So the pattern Goldfinch is by Andrea Moray, the fading pattern fame lady. So this was couple of years ago. Anyways, I knit my first one on my trip to France with my best friend Lauren, and so maybe it just has the pattern that has positive memories in it for me. So I kept knitting them. I knit so many. I haven't knit one since last summer. This was the last one I finished, and I love wearing it. So there's that. Let me get rid of that string. I also knit these beautiful socks. Here, let's see if I can do this. I've been showing them off all over Instagram. So this is Cascade Heritage, just a solid. And then this is Knit Picks Felici yarn. And I was inspired by someone else's socks, right? I looked at it and I did not buy the pattern. I just started knitting them because it was simple enough that I could figure out. I know. But I'm on a budget, so, you know. Anyways, so this was the Knit Picks Felici. I think it's surfs up, rain, I don't know, something to do with water anyways. I didn't even use a full color repeat to make a shorty sock because I like shorty socks. So it has an afterthought heel on it. What else can I tell you about it? Judy's Magic Cast On. And I just love the way the boxes look. So I knit a pair of these. In fact, I think I'm going to put it on. I'm wearing my Mother of Dragons / Sons t-shirt because it's the same thing. This is one of my Christmas presents from my parents. Shout out to Game of Thrones and my boys. I'm also working on, these are getting the most love right now. So these are the Partying Up Getting Down, or some variation of that phrase by Megan Williams of Stockinette Zombie fame. So I am using Opal in this color, which is use public transit, save the city. So it's like a muted rainbow, or what can I tell you about it? So it's 75 wool, 25% polyamide. I think I'm knitting them on US size ones. I haven't knit socks on ones in forever. Because of the construction, I thought I might need a little extra give in the fabric. And so going up to ones from size zeros or double zeros, which are what I knit socks on lately. So this has been a fun, quick little knit. I do have a progress keeper. That's what I knit yesterday. Yesterday was a good knitting day for me. So it's got the V's partying up in the front. And at first I was going to make 2 socks the same and have them both be toe up, but the more I'm knitting on this, and it's an afterthought heel, so you really can just like knit until you're done with the sock, and then you put you don't even put in waist yarn, so I'm not even sure who these are going to be for at this point. But anyways, I was knitting these and I thought I would make them the same, but now I think it would be fun to do a top down and have the directionality of the striping reversed. So it's pretty. It's pretty. It's Opal. It's just a great workhorse sock yarn. Of all the socks I've knit, I've been knitting socks for 11 years. The Opal ones by far outlast the others, or any of those hard-wearing German yarns that are 75-25 blend. So this is the very pointed Great Northern Toque, and it is made by Marley, M-A-R-L-E-E. So I used what the pattern called for, which is Woolies Thick and Quick by Lion Brand. I knit 2 of them. The first one is a little pointed, the second one's better. I made one for Tristan, my youngest son. I didn't even talk about them. I guess I'll talk about them at the end, but I have 2 sons and a husband and 3 cats. So I knit Tristan one. It was supposed to be for me, but it was way too small, so he got it. And then I knit Roland one, which is pointy, and then by that time I wanted to make a pink and a blue version, so I made this one for me. I will put it on, but I have a clip in my hair, and it'll just be a mess, so I don't want to do that. I have been growing my hair, in case you can't tell, and I got it cut like a bunch of times since we last saw each other, but then at the end of the summer I decided to grow it, and when you have your hair like shaved at the back of your neck, it takes a really long time to get to ponytail length. It's been kind of frustrating for me, in case you can't tell. What else is in here? So after I finished the pink pair of socks, I wanted to do another pair right away. So if you're my mother-in-law, don't look. She has much smaller feet than I do. I wear 11s and she wears 7s or 8s, like tiny foot. So I cast on a pair of shorties for her and did the same pattern. This is Regia 4-ply, I don't know, the maroon color anyways. A couple of years ago she gifted me a bunch of, she was just cleaning out her stash and she had stopped knitting socks. And so she gave me several skeins, probably 25 skeins of sock yarn. And so I'm starting to go through there because I noticed last time we were up and her socks were hang drying in the laundry that they were looking kind of ratty. Because I don't know if I even just said this, but she stopped knitting socks. Oh, well, let's see. She knit Roland a sweater, cable, beautiful Guernsey cable sweater when he was a year, and she hasn't knit anything since. So it's been like 5 years, maybe 6 years since she's knit socks. So that's why she gave me a bunch of her sock yarn. And so I'm going to try and use it up and knit her some socks, because she and my father-in-law, and my parents for that matter, all wear hand knits and they love them. So here we go. And the first sock has the afterthought heel put in it. The second sock I've picked up, but I haven't cut for it yet. So I got distracted by other shiny things. And this bag, which I pulled back up for Valentine's Day and have been using it ever since, is a front range bag. I don't know if she still makes them, but I own a lot of her bags and they're very sturdy. Then I started a third pair because I was on a roll, so why stop? And lately, since I'm not traveling all around here, there, and everywhere, I end up putting like 3 or 4 projects in a bag, which I don't like doing, but I'm also not buying new bags. So So this one is Patton's Croy that I cast on, thinking it would be more of a mannish look, either for Steve or for my dad. They have the same size feet, so I could get away with it. So there's that, and then I have this skein of I don't know. Oh, no. No. I don't know where the tag is. But it's another skein. And it was, I think it's a single skein in my stash. I don't even know where I came by this. Doesn't seem like a color I would buy. It's got mustard and it's got aqua and light blue, which I like, but then it's got a royal blue and a spruce green and a brown and a mustard. So 3 colors I like, 3 colors I don't like. I would not knit myself a pair of socks out of these, so I thought that it would be a good way to kind of use it up. Of course, I'm only going to use a color repeat, maybe a little more on this. But for these socks, I didn't tell you this, when I do Judy's Magic Cast On for the toe, I use size 1 needles. This one's bent. And then I'm using size 3 needles on the top of the foot for the color work, and it works out great. Like, these are perfectly fitting socks for me. So it's a little messy at the on the ladder on the sides, but I'm willing to let that go, and I'm not getting any better. You know, it's my 5th sock. You'd think I'd be better by now, but I'm not. It's just the way it is. Moral of the story. So there's that, and I think that's all that's in this bag. Hey, we're getting through everything. So also, this one is a fat squirrel bag that I've had for a while, and I just pulled back out. It says knit right there in the bottom with a bear. It's cute. And here, Tristan has this Viking hat that I got probably from the Gap or Old Navy, and it's adorable. It's got the horns that you picture for a Viking hat, and so, but he's outgrowing it. He's worn it for 2 winters, and it's pretty snug, but he still wants to wear it. So back in March, I want to say, I started to knock it off and make him another one, and I assume since it was a store-bought yarn, it's acrylic, so I bought acrylic for him. I don't even know. This is, I love this wool, which is a worsted weight. Do know that. Could you tell me what you are? No, it just says blend on it. Sorry, that was Aphrodite who just jumped up there. Maybe she's sitting where you can see it. It's an 80-20 wool, 80 acrylic, 20 wool. So I started trying to knock it off and get stitch counts right, and of course I don't want to swatch and get gauge. So the first one came out too short, so I didn't put horns on it. But I do have 3 others and a 4th on the needle that I'm working on to get this right for him for next fall at this point. So once it stopped snowing, the pressure kind of came off from doing it. And then the last project I have to show you has gotten oh, Stephanie, you messy knitter. Okay, there, let me just shove it back in, no one will notice. So these are the Luck-Lucks, and I want to call them Lucky, but they're Luck-Lucks. And the pattern is designed by the lovely Megan Williams again. This was her St. Patrick's Day pattern, obviously, and I immediately cast on. She was giving away free downloads for so many people, and so I got one. And I absolutely love the way it looks. I love the contrast of the lime green, which is, I think it's Swamp Thing from Miss Babs, or it's Claudia Hand Paints. I can't tell. And then the other yarn is the inside of Fiber Nymphs. I think it's called her Sunshine Base. It's a gradient yarn, and I've already knit something with the red, and well, the red and the green. I don't know, but I had this amount left, and since they're color work, it doesn't take that much in yardage. So the heel is gorgeous. The whole pattern is gorgeous. These columns running up the side. It's lovely. I'm about to begin, has a whole round of an edging of clovers on it. So I'm just about to begin that. There was an edge between and now a green break, if you will. You see that? So, And I haven't touched these since St. Patrick's Day. I was on a tear the week before trying to get these done, and then I realized that's never going to happen. So they kind of got set aside. But I've definitely had a thing for color work these past few months. Not too complicated, but I've been enjoying it. So that's what's on my needles. The most active project is definitely right here in my, what's this bag? Bird legs bag. I'm going to pull that back out. It's a summer bag, right? Octopus. So that partying up and getting down is what I'm about to go sit and work on now. So hey, this is the second half of the show. This is where I'm going to fill you in on my life from the last year. So if you're only interested in knitting talk, this isn't for you. So I'll say goodbye now and hope to see you again next time. And if you would like to hear what's changed and what's going on, here we go. I made a list. Here is what is the same in my life from a year ago, and here's what is different. So quite a lot has changed, and the world is not what it was for me. So let me start off by saying that I got really sick last May. It's crazy, but as a 36-year-old, I got mono, and if only I had been a little more promiscuous in college and gotten it like everyone else then. But being trapped in your bed with no energy and needing to sleep 20 hours a day is not ideal for a full-time working mom of 2 small boys with a husband and a life and activity that's not easily put aside. So they say that mono in adults is much worse because adults can't stop the way kids and college kids can, and that's true. So we fought through it, but because of whatever the state of my body, I don't know, the mono kicked off a bunch of other three autoimmune diseases in my body, and it's just been an uphill battle. And in January, my rheumatologist declared that I was as medically healed as I was going to be, and that was devastating for me because this is not at all the life I used to have. So it's sad for me, but it's also as part of my healing and accepting of the place I am. I really wanted to come back and talk to you, but I also want to present to you a full picture of what I'm like now versus what I was like a year ago. So first up, I have very low energy. So I used to, work 60 hours a week and take care of the boys and do things both days of the weekend and go and be perfectly fine. And now I sleep 11 to 15 hours a day. And if I do something for more than a couple hours one day, the next day I'm sleeping for the most of the day. So that's really impacted my life, but it's also made me make decisions. So what's important and what do I want to push myself on and what do I not want to invest myself in? So that's changed. A second thing is that I mix up my words a lot, and I mix up my words. The symptom is cognitive confusion. See, I forgot the word for it. So it may not, and this is what's held me back, it may not be pleasant to watch someone struggle through remembering a word. And I do it a lot. So I get lost places when I'm driving. I forget a concept mid-sentence. Just very, very, it's not like she's got mommy brain or, oh, she's pregnant. No, it happens frequently, several times a day, where I just can't even finish a thought. So that may not be fun for podcast viewing. I don't know. We'll have to check it out and see. I find I'm better if I'm relaxed and can just think about what I'm doing in that moment and not let my brain go on a scavenger hunt of thinking of other things. So there's that. Okay. So I thought I'd share that. So another thing that's different is that I knit less. I used to be a crazy addicted knitting person, and now I've basically knit to exhaustion or knit to the point where it doesn't drive me, and I have this, when you go on a date, here you go, you go on a date or you go do something social or whatever, and you're supposed to leave them wanting more. I always wanted more with knitting. I could never get enough knitting time. Even if I had a week off and all I did was knit before the boys were born. I never had enough knitting time. I've hit the point where I have enough knitting time, and now I knit when I feel like it, but I don't feel like it 100% all the time. So that's changed. And with that, I've also changed the type of knitting I do. I'm jumping around from my list, but I feel like it fits here, so I'm going to say it. I used to do more shawls and wanting to do sweaters and yearning for those intricate knitting projects, whatever was hip and new and cool, different construction. Like, I still find those things interesting, but I recognize the amount of energy and labor that goes into that and brain power, and I just don't have it. So over the past year, I've done a lot of smaller, simpler projects. So like right now I'm doing a stockinette baby hat, but I find color work, simple color work, very, very pleasing. I really enjoy doing that. So I've done a lot of accessories, socks and hats. And by a lot, I mean a little. Like, I was envisioning this return to knitting with this great big pile of projects to show you, and really what I should be showing you is a great big pile of UFOs that it's like, oh, should I do this, should I not? Because that's just astronomically huge right now of what I'm not finishing. So let's talk about something that's the same. I still have my 2 boys and my husband. I still have the 3 of them standing by me, helping me as much as they can. Roland's 6 now, and Tristan is almost 4. He'll be 4 in 8 weeks. And yes, he is counting down the weeks. I could go on and on about them, but I'm not going to, because this is for talking about what's the same and different about me. So Steve is still the same, but he does have a new job, and his new job sends him to New York, London, Denver, Hartford, all over the place. So he's traveling 2 or 3 days a week. Pretty, yeah, like I think he's had 1 week since the new year. He's had 2 weeks where he was home, and the rest of the time he's been gone a couple days a week. So that's great. He really loves his new job. It's been a great transition for him, and I hope he continues to like it. So with him working so much more and me not really being up to anything, I am now a stay-at-home mom, so that is different. I'm not a full-time bust-in-my-butt climbing the corporate ladder person anymore in Cubicleville. Someday I may be again, but right now it's just not the right thing for me. Mac and Linus are still with us. We still have the old men. They're both 14. They're getting old. Max lost 5 pounds this winter, and so he's pretty thin, but he's got saggy skin, so it's kind of funny. And then Linus, who's getting old, I mean, they're 76 in cat years. Ask Imes. I did. That's how I found out. I mean, Linus, all his little bones are sticking out. He's always been a thin cat, and now that he's getting older, it's definitely, you feel it when you touch him, and his hair's straightened out, but we still love him, and he's still per bucks, and he's my shadow, and he's with me all the time. We did add a new addition to the family. Her name is Aphrodite, because she is the queen of loves. She's a Devon Rex. She's 5 years old. She was a show cat, so she had a very prosperous show cat career for 5 years, and then when she retired from being a show Devon Rex, she came to live with us. So she's beautiful calico. You'd call her calico. She's a silver patch tabby. I'm not going to get it all right, because whatever, but her color name is about this long, and yes, I do know a lot about show cats and pedigree cats, past life. So that's the same boys, but we have an addition, and they've taken to her very well. She is super easygoing, so if anyone even like raises a paw to her, she flips on her back. Like, she's so easygoing. Very different than Izzet. She's Izzet's granddaughter, which is really cool to me. Izzet was the cat that we had. We had her for 3 or 4 years, and then Roland was born, and she just needed more attention than I could give her, and she tripped Roland and I in the stairs, and we fell down the stairs because she was just circling my legs, and she always did that, and we couldn't get her to relax, and so we ended up finding a different home for her that was a better fit, which I miss her, but I'm glad we did. Anyways, what else? With me home and Steve doing this crazy traveling job, we've kind of, so we're high school sweethearts, right? And we went to college together, and we settled here in New Hampshire together straight out of college, and got married and bought a house and cars and kids and all that. So we've spent more than half our lives together, right? We've been together for almost 20 years. And up until this point, we've both been striving and working side by side, right? And like both of us working on our career, and we would have arguments when our boy was sick. Who's going to stay home with the boy? Will I have a big meeting? Will I have a big meeting? And back and forth. And since I'm not working, and he is now sort of leading the charge on making the money, we're more of a team, and we're more united, and it's an effort. And he talks about work way more than he ever did before, and I'm working on being the supportive wife. And I think we're both really happy. You know, there's part of me that really, really misses the satisfaction of a job well done. You know, spending a day putting something together, or a week or a month, and then having it completed. But that's not where we are right now. So right now we're in the point of being Team Michellos. That's what we call ourselves. It's Matured Fellows together. So, yeah. But I will tell you that, what else here? New cat, stay at home. Okay, here's the sad thing. I'm sure you've noticed it. I put on a lot of weight. That's one of the side effects of my medication that I take. And so I do yoga a couple days a week, and I do water physical therapy 3 days a week, and I try to eat healthy and do all the good things that you're supposed to do. But yeah, it's just, so feel good or feel moderately good, or have not gained weight. So we've got to find a good balance, right? And we're working on it. But yes, I've heard in the past that people have not liked to watch podcasters because their image changes. And so yes, my image has changed. But I'll tell you what, I still have this laugh. I've got a cold right now. I tend to get sick a lot more often now than I used to. And they last longer. It's not all negative, I promise. I'm still optimistic, Stephanie. I still laugh at myself. I still love sci-fi. Oh my gosh, can I tell you that Netflix Altered Carbon is so good. Go watch it if you haven't. You probably have, but if you haven't, so good. It's what Westworld should have been in my mind. Like, oh, so good. Anyways, let's see. What else? So as part of this, I've been working on myself, right? Quite a bit. And as part of that, I'm trying to be less rigid, less superficial, less consumerist. I'm on a budget, like a for real budget, because the lack of half of our income is pretty substantial with me not working. And I am more flexible, you know, more easygoing, more forgiving. I'm trying to be more content and have more acceptance of where I'm at in my life, right? Instead of mourning what I've lost, just accepting the blessings that are here today and the time I get to spend with my family. I see so much more of Roland. He no longer goes to the YMCA after school program, and we've seen a dramatic change in his personality. It's wonderful. He is no longer anxious. He comes home and he tells me about his day, and we talk through it, and I feel like he's just getting some support that he really, really needed. You know, no more tears about I don't want to go to school in the morning. Not that he didn't like school, I feel like he just wasn't getting enough when I was working 60 hours a week and he was there, and, you know, between it all. Tristan still goes to daycare because I can't keep up with him all day, every day by myself. But we have fun on the evenings and on the weekends. So there's that. What else? Budget. Yeah. So I think the main difference is that I'm celebrating each day, taking it as a gift and enjoying what I'm able to do, versus racing through, trying to get to the next promotion, trying to get to the next weekend, trying to get to the next bedtime. I'm just in the moment, loving what I'm doing. So I sat down and talked with you today because I felt like doing that today. And when I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to try I have the time. I could record every week. I don't know if I will, but I will try. And that makes me remember one more thing I completely left out. Part of the reason for less knitting is I have a new love. I know, I didn't mean to cheat on you like this. I went away and I found something else that just totally, I love doing it. So some of you know that I started a little Etsy shop called Adore Knit, ADOREKNIT, like adorn it, like put something on it, but adorn it like you love your knit. I know. Why I felt like I needed to tell you, I don't know. But I started this little stitch marker shop last November, and I absolutely love making stitch markers and progress keepers. Shell pins are okay. I don't love making them as much, so I don't make as many, but I do make shell pins. Get my hammer, my anvil, and yep. Yeah, so that's been a really fun endeavor for me, and I just find it so satisfying to make something that I love and then to share it, to sell it to someone else who will use it and love it, and they will smile every time they see it. So right now I've got my little TARDIS on here, and every time I go by them, it's a little happy, it's a little smile, it's a little joy you can take from the moment of your knitting that you find in those happy little colors and stitch markers, rather than the clover ones or just plain stitch markers that I bought for years. So I'm really loving doing that. I do have a alternate Instagram handle for that. So my family handle, that is a private account and mainly for my knitters that I've known for a while, that have known me, right? We've been together for a while. That account's Knitting Samurai. But then I have a second account that's public, and that is Adore Knit Steph. I'll put it, maybe. I'll try. And there I post pictures of shop updates, and a lot more of my knitting content goes over there. And sometimes I put stuff about the boys, but I try not to because it's public and I don't really want to share them with an unfiltered audience. Yeah, so with all the stuff with Facebook, I'm just a little more aware of what's going on. Oh, and the other thing, I am super political now. I always was political. I actually went to college for a poli-sci degree and then fell in love with sociology and switched. But at my core, there is this definite political junkie in there, and so I am very up to date on what's going on in the world, which is nice because I have time for that. And I didn't before, and it was definitely something I was missing. But also, at the same time, I'm having a hard time following a book to completion these days. Like, there's so many good books out there that I want to read, and Jeanette tells me about them. Bookish Stitcher, I love her. Her podcast. So many good books, bestsellers, all this stuff that it kind of comes into my radar, and I want to do that, and then I forget or I don't do it. So I've been slowly working my way through the Wheel of Time series. I had read like the first 3 or 4 books, and so we switched over. I've started them again, including New Spring, the prologue. So I've run through books 7 or 8, but then I've lost momentum on that. I did listen to The Witcher. It's written by a Polish writer, and the books have been translated. They're not as, they're a little more straightforward, a little less, they don't draw me into the world as much as like a Stephen King. He's the bar that I measure everything. They're decent books, and the video games have been based on that, and Steve and I are reading those together. So we're on he just started the 3rd one. I have to start it and read it with him. Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been up to and all that. And yeah, so if you made it through, thank you so much. And if you think that you still are interested, please like this video and subscribe if you're on YouTube, so that it boosts me up and other people can see that I'm back in the saddle, and happy to share my knitting and stitch markers and my life with y'all. So happy spring. It is coming. This is the the fake spring, but it's coming. It's slow, but it's coming. So take care. I'll talk to you very soon, I promise. Okay, bye.